get those leads back for SVP, and we're already in the draft, so I guess we'll just have to figure it out.
Yeah, and right there, Renekton, sorry, you're gonna sit out this match. And Jess, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on what's like the lane matchups that we should keep our eyes on. You know, earlier we did see side lane matchups, the Baron lane matchups over here. I do think it's gonna be possibly a Dragon lane matchup coming into this match. What do you think?
Yeah, I also think that it's gonna be all about Dragon Lane. Yeah, Papa and Ninja 7. But I'm curious that if they wanna pull off something like Senna, I'm really interesting to see like how this team, like if they're gonna use it or not, or like later down the line, you know, because it's easy to get the lane priority with Senna and Para with Galio or Kargas, right?
That's right, and it's also very interesting to see that SVP have a very high priority on this Lee Sin. It's his comfort pick after all, what we saw back in Summer Super Cup when they were playing as MVP. So we will probably know that he will try to get some leads for that Riven. But one team, they're so confident with this Olaf pick, and they want to further buff it up alongside with Lulu that can give him so much of a safety with that Wild Growth ultimate, and that could easily diffuse any situation or enable this Olaf to just run straight at any one of these SVP members.
Wow, they double down on Olaf as well, picking Galio here with the ultimate. Like, if Olaf get a lead, it's pretty much over for sure. Wow, they're bringing out Seraphine.
Like you said, Mika, great predictions.
Yeah, but Seraphine is really bad against Olaf. He doesn't care about your ult. He doesn't care about your E. He just runs straight to you.
That's a very fair point. And now what are they gonna do with this Akali? Because there's so many of layers that she will need to find Cross to pull off a perfect execution. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a winning lane for the Baron lane in particular for SVP. But when it comes down to burst potential, SVP does have a little bit of that. But one team esports, they can choose to just really extend the fight long enough, and if they were to play a slower tempo, you could get this Saya that could easily skill into the game.
Wow, I really like one team drafting here. Like they're drafting, like double down on Olaf. That like it's so easy for him to play with the Lulu buff and the Galio, and they draft an independent ADC here. So there's no need for Galio and Lulu to look after Saya because of the ultimate.
I think they raised a really good point on the desk there that the Olaf could literally steamroll this entire bot lane.
Yeah, exactly, right? Usually when we see the Varus on the opposite side, some teams answer with a Jarvan 4 just for easy access towards the backline. But, you know, you can't ignore everything else in front of you by using an Olaf with that big Ragnarok just passing through everybody and head straight to the goal, which is, again, Papa being the most vulnerable target on the side of SVP.
Well, straight into mid lane they go. We do have a lane swap and a very early flash as well. As Pagor's been exhausted and they're just ignoring the turret. They don't care. Another flash to follow. They're looking to try and run this one down. It's Azaya. It's not going to get the kill, and they do find it. And the craziest early blood you might see to date at 30 seconds.
Yeah, you know that they were going to get the kill is that they expended so many flashes. Usually the story ends there. You let your enemy laner burn the flash, and usually you're happy about that. But SVP bot lane, or rather, one team bot lane is able to get that kill over.
Very interesting lane assignments here. Looking to try and find areas of the map they want to accelerate and areas of the map they want to shut down. Big focus into the Kali as the Darius there was shadowing. But it has been at the expense of Pagor that's fallen on down nice and early, and a Riven that wants to try and dictate the tempo. Be one step behind now.
Yeah, I really love the lane swap being initiated by one team here. They know that the Seraphine versus Varus lane is going to be very oppressive, so they respect that. Did that lane swap just as Omo mentioned earlier. And now we get to see, you know, Albut over here on this Lee Sin. He has been basically, I believe, sort of spamming that champion has been his default, basically, even during the Summer Super Cup, even during their local qualifiers. And it has been that big comfort pick. We'll see how he's able to impact the early game for sure, because look at Xianyo as this Olaf has been, you know, invading the jungle of SVP as well.
But not a bad champion to try and one trick if you need it, because it does pump out a fair bit of damage and offers a whole bunch of utility So much so that it will get banned 9 times out of 10. Cross-map play so far as one team look to try and explode topside. Not going to be the case. Now, bot side we go. 3v2. Not sure if they're going to go for the kill. Just flirting with danger is a nice kick. Instant safeguard away. Real focus seems to be getting that first turret down.
Yeah, it's a good call because you diving a Darius and a Galio isn't exactly the best of ideas. Easy apprehend, easy as well on the taunt, so it's a good call from SVP. Just be a bit patient. If you want first blood tower, they're gonna get it.
Using their range advantage, they're going to find it. Turret falls on down, but not before one team can answer back by taking a top turret. So the bot lanes are instrumental in achieving this. And now it does beg the question, what does this mean for lane rotations? Because we're still so far away for those first objectives spawning. Still a whole minute until that becomes a fault. And it looks like, based on the positioning now, that Ninja is going towards the bot side to perhaps give us a sense of stability and normality.
Yeah, one team would desire to open up the bot lane just because of the first dragon of the game, Infernal Drake. They want that big damage bonus buff.
Nice.
Look at CU! Yeah, canceling out the ports. Therefore, they might be open for a dive. Remember, Baya is on this Galio.
Fire is on his Galio, and as you say, he jumps in with a nice little taunt, buying time for Jianyo to come on through, but not enough to get any pressure onto him. At least they've crashed the wave. They've now got themselves into that river first and foremost. And bear in mind that that bot lane from SVP still hasn't had a chance to reset, so they flirted with danger. Now going to go for the 4v2, and no one's coming to back up SVP just yet. All but needs a fair bit of time, but he's locked in place with the wall so far. The encore goes out, flashed away, looking to try and guarantee that they can get one kill. Ragnarok is oppressive, and it does so much, and Virus falls on down.
And just in time for the dragon to spawn. I believe one team still has to reset though, as a lot of them were pretty much very low, so Albut can move towards securing this Rift Scuttler. That means they can still be able to contest. I mean, at least Baya is just basically zoning out Albut over here and taking that objective.
Yep, not interested in that one whatsoever, and it looks like that. They're just going to get all the vision right now. This river from top to bottom belongs to one team. They know your next move. They know that you've been trying to force that reset, abuse that range advantage, but you've now fallen victim to that. And it is a scary proposition when you are giving early resources to Azai to accelerate into this game and just outpace and outdamage in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we already saw Ninja 7 and CU being able to get that 1v2 early kill. We get to see Ninja 7 early pick up on that Navoris. Able to, you know, as more crits, you get to have lesser cooldown on your ultimate. But we'll have to see though, because Infernal Drake is now being spawned. So the ideal situation for SVP is Papa being able to get a chain of corruptions before the Olaf just drops in your face.
Oh, and just a cheeky kill there onto Kid off screen that we didn't manage to catch, but it basically says that you can't be greedy now to go for that dragon anymore, and that's the Ragnarok pop, and also the Wild Growth to protect and peel away. And, I mean, now it's a 4v5. The cooldowns, which are also important to allowing you to steamroll this very squishy and immobile bot lane, have been burnt. This dragon doesn't look as safe as it might have done before.
It's going to be very, very scary.
Oh
Taunt?
no, Baya's just flashed forward in, looking for the taunt. The dragon's still low. Who's going to get it? It's been stolen away there by All But. Guaranteed it. Now can they disengage away? They're bleeding. 3 members running away. And Yahtzee might just be running to this side of the map to say, look, you have to chase me down. At least the rest of my team will survive. Or will they? One's recalled. And now they're trying to protect All But. But a beautiful Galila lance there from CU.
Yeah, nicely, again, Sierra has been canceling out these ports back to base.
Wow.
Albut can't relax at all.
Really looking to try and lock them in place here. Bring that wave in so they can go for the dive. But it's just taking a little bit too long for their liking. So they will be forced to back away and won't be able to capitalize on any more than just that single kill onto Yahtzee.
You're really nicely done by Yahtzee here. Was able to burst Kid down in time for the dragon, and I feel like that is exactly what SVP needs, as again they've been losing lane-wise. And again, the ideal situation for SVP, of course, you know, Albut being able to secure most of the objectives and is able to get that invade down, get a few picks, get a few setups with the Dragon's Rage, and as well as Papa being able to be safe at the backline and is able to unleash the Chain of Corruptions before Xianyu is in your face.
Well, speaking of Papa, he is the one that hits the piercing arrow, doesn't find the target he's after. Lack of vision makes it very difficult for them to go for that play. Unable to really bully themselves into that river to contest that Herald. So it will be that all-important 1-for-1 trade, playing for the late game, but playing for the initial impact more so here for one team to get more turret plates, get more map control, which is really how this game all unfolded with that crazy 30-second lane flip.
Yeah, it all contributed to, Ninja 7 and CU is able to get a comfortable lane as well. Able to avoid the very oppressive dual lane. Oh, kid.
With
the Proto Belt apprehend, yeah, it wasn't able to reach, but yeah, Papa and David definitely have to be careful about that.
That's what they do. It's going to be a constant worry for them if they can juke out this Olaf. Well, they've still got a Darius to wrestle with as well. He's got the CC with the Proto Belt, makes up for the lack of mobility that he will have. Every time that flash is available, look to see what Kid can do with it.
Yeah, at least, the good news is that David is always going to be there babysitting Papa just to compensate how low mobile this Varus is. He compensated with the movement speed. I mean, there is, Nami being the usual pair for a Varus, but the Seraphine works well because you do have the shielding, the healing, and basically everything in the kit. And for one team, I suppose the ideal fight. Oh, what?
Okay, Yats, he's just going for the all-in. Oh no, he's going to take so many turret shots. Just gets away from the taunt, but it's not enough. He flashes the follow, and they do kill secure. Now, Olaf somehow has died in a 1v4. Everybody coming to back up Pagor here. He burnt double summoners, but he does do enough to guarantee that at least on the opposite side of the map, they do trade for 2-1.
I feel like one team really wanted to force that tower down and therefore was focused upon, and that is the end of the story. We see Shanyo's dead body in the middle of everything. Ninja 7 is able to pick up a Phantom Dancer. I mean, having to get that extra safety, I suppose. You already have that self-peel. You already have the Wild Growth. But ideally, CU wants to put the Wild Growth all the time on Shanyo to be able to maximize just being alive as you are in your Ragnarok. So, therefore, Ninja 7, yeah, you will definitely need that extra lifeline.
And it will have a few, as you said, with the Wild Growth, obviously the Featherstorm too, so plenty of get-out-of-jail-free cards for him to enable those kind of plays. But I'm actually quietly enjoying this build coming out here from David. He's gone for the Ludens, looking to pump out a fair bit of damage, give them that extra bit of AP to round out this comp and not be so AD-heavy, or at least reliant on the Akali to have a phenomenal game. It's really investing in the idea that, yeah, sure, I'm a squishy champion, but if I do manage to hit anything, you're going to remember it.
Exactly, and we haven't exactly seen the key on chorus just yet. Coming from David, it has been used to try and disengage. We might see a big sample here, though, as the next dragon has spawned. It's already being started by Ninja 7. The Omnivamp will definitely help up against Papa, who just has a ton of pokes, including David as well in the Seraphine.
Yep, classic play here. Summon a Herald, buy some time so that dragon is still engaged, and it's going to get far too low for a contest. Just melted. Gone. And like that now, they find themselves at a 5v5 in the mid lane. It's an ARAM, and a fight surely soon to break on out. SVP falls in the fight. A two-man charm locks him in place for the encore. Looking for kids, but the kick's not enough. The Wild Growth heal. So much HP in an instant. And the guillotine comes on down, and he screams to Lee Sin, my ultimate's better.
Yeah, we saw how Ninja 7 was able to definitely be safe. In the meantime, on the opposite side, Shanyo, the jungler of one team, is able to eliminate Papa as well. He just heads straight for the AD carry. And we talked about this before. The chain of corruptions will be extremely important as we take a look at that again. Look at Shanyo. Movement speed, everything else. Righteous Glory, Demacia, just hitting straight to the face of Papa. Really nice encore, though. But again, if you're an Akali, you will be punished with a taunt if Baya keeps that taunt every single time a fight is about to occur. It's such a really good anti-engage tool, and usually assassins or melee champions in general are going to suffer.
So curious about their focus in these team fights. They pilot into one champion. We've seen what the Lulu can do to try and stem that bleeding.
Oh my
Ragnarok
word.
comes on out and he ignores anything that you throw his way. A flash forward, swings the X around, get those bleed stacks rolling. Hit that true damage with the triple apprehend. There's the killing spree, and it's a double kill in an instant. Chain of corruption, who cares about it? Because you're already dead and gone. Baya, with the biggest brain in the game, just jumps back and jumps straight back in. But falls on down. He gives somehow Papa a triple kill. It looked good, but not good anymore. And the feather recall could have been huge. But they've lost so many members for this play.
It's so interesting. One team wanted to be a bit greedy in that engage. I mean, Ragnarok wasn't available. You got Wild Growth not available too, and you know, the Baron might cost them.
Yeah, they're all in this one. They're going to pick up those teleport enchantments and guarantee that this dragon, or sorry, this Baron is theirs for the taking. One team going to answer back in similar fashion.
Ragnarok.
In they come. Encore goes
Wild
out.
Growth.
Locks in place. Two. They've stolen the Baron. They've taken it away. SVP, after making a phenomenal play in that team fight to take out 4, will lose that all-important purple worm. And now they have to realize this game is a lot harder.
It is. It is. It is a lot harder. I mean, one team, it was so risky. The fact that they lost that fight where SVP could have immediately taken that Baron for themselves. But no, Xianyo, Siu had the perfect formula to just press Ragnarok, dive in, hope for the best if you'll be able to steal that Baron, and this is the result.
And that's your textbook example of what Olaf is really bringing to the table in this drop in particular. All the CC in the world, all the numbers advantage to talk about. One ultimate nullifies it all. How's your trigger finger, how's your nerves? Because Xianyo's guaranteeing it. And just like that, the map explodes in control. It was almost brought to a stable middle ground. But as the power of a Baron, up by 6k and now threatening some inhibs.
Exactly. It was so close for SVP. He's able to manage to take control over the map, and now look at them. They're now trying to defend over the siege.
It's a bit hard to siege here. Low range on the Xayah, then a bunch of melee, so not very easy for them to try and guarantee this one. You can see them flirting with danger, chip damage where they could find it, but very much reliant on these minion waves coming on through, empowering those cannons first and foremost. And looking to try and guarantee that they get that first all-important structure of the game. Yahtzee, it's the perfect execution, and that's all it will be. They've held on for the meantime.
Yeah, SVP is able to scare away one team, I suppose, and maximizing this Baron buff. I believe one team is just going to get that reset to get the third dragon of the game, which is, you know, Air Drake will help them immensely to be able to get the split, maybe possibly get invades here and there, and catch someone off guard from SVP's jungle. We'll see, though, because the ideal situation, again, is for all that to get an amazing kick, because in the later stages of the game, since Allbutt wasn't able to snowball and assist the side of the rest of the lanes, he's now going to be a kick bot at this point of the game.
Yeah, utility, which not a place you want to be as a Lee Sin. That you can accommodate that role if need be, but you want to be the one making the flashy plays, guaranteeing those sonic waves, and the second charge to guarantee the kill too. Slow, cool, calm, collected here. Methodical gameplay from one team that have allowed that Baron buff to expire, but have guaranteed themselves firm control of the map, getting themselves another Drake, and if need be, they've got that Elder win condition now.
Yeah, that's true. It will be the Elder and as well as potential second Baron again, which means one team, because they're in the lead, they can afford to try and bait it out. And I think it's still very critical to eliminate Allbutt right away and not focus on the Baron, just because we all know how it goes. Lee Sin, Sonic Wave in, a potential steal possibly. So I think one team will be definitely careful as 23 seconds on the clock. They're going to reset, find, and see if they can bait out SVP out of their jungle.
Big weight on Papa's shoulder now to try and deliver that all-important damage before the fight breaks out. But credit where credit is due to one team. They're not allowing the poke game to really be too strong here. The bot lane of SVP was built to do that from the laning phase into these team fights, but these bruisers, they're finding the angles, they're utilizing it beautifully, and they're running Riot.
They're setting up a death brush now, yeah? And it's really difficult, just as you mentioned. Papa is going to be very vulnerable. I don't think David can do anything out of that Ragnarok, and we'll see. One team now baiting up the Baron, as all according to plan. Look at Xianyo just scaring off Allbutt, removing the blast cone, just to mitigate, or rather, just to reduce any potential jump in by the whole group.
I like this play though, because they know that they have Kid in the bot lane, the only one with the teleport, still threatening that inhib and making sure that somebody from SVP has to answer back. Now bear in mind that Paygod does not have that, he has his Zonias instead, so if a fight were to break out here, he can just flip the script, make it a 5v4, and guarantee that fight works in their favor. So I like this Baron dance that's taking place, splitting SVP's attention and forcing them to make a decision.
Yeah, if ever that does happen, it's gonna be Demacia.
Oh no, a dash away and a flash to follow. Yahtzee's out, but now that's a big component of what they need to guarantee a kill. SVP will be forced back for the meantime, or will they? Oh, the golden stopwatch is beautiful. Cancels out a complete ultimate and encore. Achieves absolutely nothing.
Okay, Zhonya's out at least, so the safety is gone for a couple of minutes. SVP, though, will be happy that they've basically forced one team to back away. Papa, at this point of the game, Chain of Corruptions will be on a relatively low cooldown. I can't say the same for the Encore, though, for David. So that means that is a little bit of timing that one team has to work with. I mean, so far, I really like the patience coming from the side of one team. And now it begs the question of what are SVP's options to get back into this game, because, you know, Allbot already pretty much has fallen off. Ozzy, though, Ozzy and Pego will definitely be the critical players at this point of the game. They're able to set up flanks. They're able to set up big burst already at this point of the game as well, especially towards Ninja 7. I think the biggest issue for SVP, or in general Ozzy, to be able to burst someone down is CU. CU has the Wild Growth.
Yeah.
Wild Growth is basically that counter, that soft counter against Assassin Burst, so it may be a problem, may be a wall for Yahtzee here.
And that is the concern, because as much as you want to try and take down a key target, all be aligned on that one focus, they are going to start to lack that damage. They do split things apart, and a lot of tools that one team can throw their way to say, you're not allowed to have the liberty to choose who you focus. I'm coming at you, you need to pump me instead.
Exactly, and I think the biggest question is how will SVP even bait out the Wild Growth and then re-engage again? Because map control-wise, are they forcing this, I wonder?
Looking for Allbot, not going to guarantee the kill. Righteous Glory goes out to try and get the slow. Nanyo deciding that's not what we're after. Firm control of this game, and I mean, we can see it from the way they're playing. They're not over-forcing their hand. They know the position of power they find themselves in right now. But they're almost baiting out SVP to make the first move and capitalize on their mistake.
Yeah, at this point of the game, 20 minutes, the death timers are going to be incredibly punishing. So with Baya already very scary with everything in the world with the taunt, he's pretty tanky actually as well. He's going to be ready for the setups for sure. CEO has been poked out so much by Papa, by the way, but he's fine. Oh, apprehend.
Elder has been engaged. There's the stopwatch. Burnt very early here by Pego. He's got that GA. Oh, but low! Gonna get flashed on! Oh, the Winds of War not enough. It's not gonna be enough. He's gonna survive. But he can't jump in for the smite steal, and that's crucial now. Can they get the Elder? They've guaranteed it. Mounted over the side for one team here. And they're gonna look to try and win this fight as a result afterwards. Every zone you're being burned to try and guarantee some form of reset potential. But the cooldowns, they just don't come back quick enough. Oh, the flash forward apprehend, and one kid, he might just one shot. I mean, he's gonna take him out. It's too easy. Seraphine far too squishy. Especially with this build, built to try and burst you down. The Bruiser boys back in town, running you down, ignoring the turret, and guaranteeing what will be, and should be, a delayed ace.
It is an ace, and it could be the end of the game because the AD carry is there. What a prolonged fight, and now they end the game.
Certainly do. One team off to a flying start. They had troubles in game one, series one, but not up against SVP. They mean business.
Yeah, big early game coming from the side of one team there. Complete Seraphine coming in there for the crowd control and everything. One team esports, though, what do you think they could revolve around if they want to secure this win from SVP?
The previous game they draft, the draft from one team is more like a team fight com, right? They draft Galio, Darius. Darius is obviously for team fight, because of the E and stuff, and he built a tank as well because he's rushing a Daceman plate, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to see like I wanted to play like more of a high tempo composition this game.
Absolutely agree with you, and I think they've just heard high tempo, and immediately they lock in the Camille that was left out in the open. So maybe they want to copy a little bit of a textbook play that's coming from Team Flash that has been able to take one game off of one team, and now they respond with the Riven. So this skill matchup here definitely is going to be very exciting. So we expect a lot more fights to happen on that Baron lane once more.
Yeah, this tournament is all about top laner.
At least it's no longer an island, right? Like, there's a lot of party going on up there.
everyone could swim there.
That's right. But then again, when we have a Camille, it can still be flexed in the jungle. Since you've been playing a lot of all these tournaments, do you always prefer it on the Baron lane or the jungle in specific?
Do you mean Camille, right?
Yeah, indeed.
In this game, I like Camille more to be the. Actually, I think it's pretty fine as both lane, but they need to flex all the way, so they can like switch around to see what one team pick, and then they can counter pick later on with the jungle on top.
My oh my, am I seeing this
Ooh.
right?
And now,
It's a Lux!
Camille jungler is way better.
Wow.
way better, because they could when you play as a Baron laner Camille. Oh, okay. He already picked Vi. As a jungle Camille, you can always go for the pick off, right? But as a Baron laner, you gotta push the wave first. You can't just randomly go to mid and pick someone off, right? You gotta play with a minion wave. So that's out of the windows. So it's pretty tough, I guess.
Now that we've
But there's still Lux and Sona.
all these champions coming
Wow.
right in. One team esports, they have a lot of burst magic damage, but I'm not too certain about this when you have a Lux over mid lane. I think it will feel
Yeah, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be all-out skirmish, all-out fight. I mean, the first thing that you see is gonna be that Olaf lock-in, and you know it's gonna be Ninja 7 and CU gonna be playing around the fact that they have this Olaf, Ragnarok just gonna be passing through everybody, and their target, and Xianyo's target is almost always gonna be Papa. And I think the biggest struggle would be David's Wild Growth. Who will be able to out-sustain each other in battle?
I mean, the spot lane's going to have to be on their very best form here, guaranteeing that they've got the right cooldown utilization, that the focus is shifting beautifully. I feel like that was one of the criticisms of Game 1, right? The fact that there was a lot of the attention drawn into one key focus. Very easy then for Lulu to play around that. So I suppose it's up to one team with this Olaf once more to hit that pressure switch and showcase that, hey, you know, Papa can tumble all day long and look to try and become, you know, that 1v9 player. But we can just switch focus. It'd be very hard for you to answer back.
Yeah, I mean, there's Papa who's able to get that final hour on board after level 5. You get that extra mobility, I suppose, and as well as the tumble. The biggest question is, will that be enough? Look at this, though. SVP initiated the lane swap because they know this matchup, just as what the Jess has mentioned, is going to be them being obliterated. The fact that Papa, again, as a Vayne in general, has no wave clear whatsoever.
Oh no, David's in the spot above it here. Greedy for vision, runs into the river and finds himself an Olaf. That's not what he's after. The heal comes out, the empowered damage is there to flash away back to the safety of the top tier 1 as the orb goes out and powers him with the auto attack damage if need be, but no one there to finish it. And no one will fall on down. And yeah, I mean, they're frantically hunting for that reset because they really want to avoid this bottom lane matchup and try and scale up to 3.
And one team doesn't want that to happen. They know it's gonna happen. And they just basically haunt SVP like a ghost here with this very oppressive 2v2 matchup. And I think the scariest part is that one team has all the tools in the world to be involved in these skirmishes. You've got, what, almost everyone will get priority over here. And Adzi will not be able to be involved in the fights as much because you're a Ziggs. You want to just keep clearing down the wave, see if you can punish one team in their roams by getting a tower on your own or getting chip damage on the tower.
I feel like Yasuo has a very big role in this game, right? Doesn't want to be the AFK control mage in the mid lane, just farming up a storm and you know, waiting for the rest of his team to participate. His Mega Inferno bombs can be actively used in these side lanes to trim waves, to trim dives, and potentially nullify some of this annoying harass that we're seeing on our screen right now. Then they do have the opposite lanes that can scale into oblivion. The Vayne, the Camille, an absolute menace to deal with. And if this game is going to be as you know, haphazard as Game 1, it could be another 50-50.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So SVP hoping to scale. One team, though, when we look back at their previous games today, they've been incredibly proactive, is able to get early game leads, and so far, it's looking to be the case because they have been making moves around the map as we get to see Baya having to tag team with Xianyo most likely, especially if he gets priority. They want to hunt for kills, and the enabler for that is the charms.
Yeah, and every single time you see that lane pushed out, You just had to know that Ari is unlocked, is going to start roaming, and I'm sure the Olaf won't be too far behind. Now, SVP's bot lane has been locked in place here for a very long time. There is the flash. They've got themselves the chilling smite. Burns double flash to try and disengage away. Here comes Allbot, all in with his Sodden battery. The satchel charge to disengage. There's going to be the whole 4v4 here, top side of the map, as the Bruisers now just run through to mid and assert themselves controlled there. No kill will be found. Final spark's not enough.
Woo!
And just take a second to breathe. There is no first blood yet.
A really nice dodge coming from Papa there. I felt like that could have been first blood if the final spark was able to connect. There's so many key ults that are gone though. There's no Spirit Rush, there's no final spark, there's no Ragnarok. So SVP, they're gonna be comfy taking this Rift Herald unless one team is able to get a light binding down and get a good ult from Ninja 7.
I mean, Ninja 7 certainly could go for the flash crescendo if the angles line up beautifully. There is that chokehold of them coming straight into the Rift Herald, and yeah, just like that, they sacrifice it. They say, we don't want to flip the game at such an early state. There's no point. Let's just continue playing to these waves. Let's get ourselves those key item spikes. We're going to bleed. It's obvious. I mean, this is what our comp's built to do, is that we want to be an absolute menace. But I suppose it's the fashion in which you do bleed. How much will you lose? Because it looks like they're going to lose a whole bunch.
Yeah, Rift Herald, First Blood Tower as well, bonus for the side of one team, even potentially the Dragon, because for SVP to safely transition towards the later stages of the game, they have to make sure that they're able to get picks here and there, punish over-aggression coming from one team, and they have the capabilities of doing so. They've got Wild Growth to out-sustain one team. They've got the Mega Inferno Bomb to be able to be involved in some of the side lanes here. We'll see if Allbot with Assault and Battery as well is able to punish out key targets from one team.
I'm wondering if the bot lane of one team there read it as almost being a little bit too telegraphed, that we did see Papa and David want to reset, go back to base. They're down to 50%, so why would they cancel that? No vision in the area, but they're not going to fall victim to it. So a nice read there from one team, showing discipline and allowing their early game oppression to still stand strong.
Yeah, they know that they don't necessarily have to kill. They just have to put Papa and David into a tight leash. And now, with this rotation, SVP remains, puts the bot side at their top. That means they can't contest for the Dragon.
Instant flash away, though, and I suppose that is the focus once again. We are sacrificing things, but we need to answer back elsewhere. Oh, that was so close. That was very close there, with the all-in from the Ziggs. Not enough to outrange the smite, though. Hagar may just die for this one. Yep, the Spirit Rush guarantees it. Chucks at the Corgi and says goodbye.
Effortless by Baya here. Again, this tag team of a duo with Shanyo and Baya is just so deadly.
What can Kid do here in a 1v3? He's
Ninja
going to be
7.
backed up. See you flashes forward. Oh no,
Crescendo.
Ninja 7. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw the failed flash crescendo. It doesn't even matter. It does not. They found two already, and that's without cooldowns landing. And David has to run to the hills, but it's only going to find a Ziggs. And with no ultimates between the two of them, they are just going to soak some experience instead.
Yeah, Kid basically did a good job having to deter SVP from that dive. I believe that was a 1v3. Waited up until Ninja 7 is able to join the fight. And yeah, all attempts from SVP has been failing. And not only that, the exchange from it, where one team is able to cash in more gold, cash in more leads, cash in more kills, is just really brutal when it comes to the high risk, high reward type of approach in what they're doing.
And I think that sums it up beautifully, because that really is what it is. You're banking on the fact that one team can't find these angles to punish you elsewhere, that they can't unlock too much of this map for free. But they are finding that so far, and SVP have been unable to answer back. No turrets, no kills, no winning lanes to really harp on about. I mean, just take a quick stock check of the scoreboard, and some big gold leads now are starting to develop. I'm looking at the jungle in particular, where Zhanyo is just pretty much double.
That's true. Double the gold has been so involved in these fights, and that is the reason why we get to see Shanyo just so aggressive, doesn't really care, can tag team with Baya or possibly with Siyu to engage in these fights. Already have that Righteous Glory on board, so whenever he feels like it, he can just go in, press Ragnarok, and see if somebody dies, and usually the target's gonna be Papa.
Frustration there for Papa though, as he's looking to try and amp up the ante with the Silver Bolts. He's got himself that Blade of the Rune King, because certainly he's working towards some of that dueling potential, which is what Vayne is so coveted for. But up against Kid here, who has Flash, has Ignite, and has a Black Cleaver too. Now has actually just completed a Death Stance, far too strong, even with the cheating of the tempo, with that Arts Sensor from David to back him up with. So worrying times here, but they do have double Trinity Forces, so if they can get themselves a bit of free map time, they're sieging, let me pack a bit of a punch.
Yeah, that's the thing. One team, all single lanes, probably except for Papa versus Ninja 7. Papa is able to still catch up in gold no matter what, but the rest of the lanes have been struggling. Therefore, one team is able to strong arm, plant these deep vision, see if somebody overextends inside their own jungle alone. You bet one team's gonna go there, visit you, and make sure you get punished in your own jungle.
I suppose revisiting the point we brought up before, right, when you are drafting scaling, you are looking to try and stem the bleeding and just, fade into that mid to late game where you do start to become relevant. They're down 10,000 gold now, and it feels like too steep of a hill to try and overcome.
Yeah, it's one team just getting everything. All the objectives, all the towers, all the bonuses, First Blood Tower. And unfortunately, the Mega Inferno Bomb at this point is not going to deal a lot. Just the Luden's Echo. You need that Rabadon's Death Cap at least to boost a little bit more of that damage. So right now, Mega Inferno Bomb, really relevant when it comes to minions. Not so much about champions.
And it felt like we were, excited for what the Ziggs could offer. It could be that fantastic transition from early to mid to try and at least be competitive in this match. We've seen a number of times Olbart has looked to try and get the ball rolling, also to answer back with some trades of their own, but that play's always been red. The Assault and Battery hasn't let them any kills. And one team just having the freest game of their life. They are literally taking anything, and you just look at the way they're posturing, the way they're rotating around this map. Not a fear in the world.
Yeah, this is almost one team winning the game through PvE, having to get a lot of the objectives across the map. SVP, again, of course, they want to avoid fights because, as you mentioned, they just want to scale and see if they can get a pick or two, possibly, once one team is able to fully engage. Now, this is an attempt, right, from SVP and from Albert and Pego.
I like this though, but it is going to get spotted out nice and early as Janyo is the focus. Has double buffs, so he's going to be too concerned about taking that fight. Double back on himself as the binding goes through. Nice Hex to Golden, eye-framing it. Goes Golden for a second, buys that time there for the teleport to follow, and that's a two-man charm. There's not much you can do about that one. Ziggs is gone. The double kill fan here for the Olaf. Papa tumbling through space and time, but only tumbles into a shallow grave. He's fallen on down here for 20 seconds. Only Pagor survives. And one team are happy to play the PvE, but if they get an option to PvP, they'll crush it too.
Yes, and they did. And now it's 4 death timers on the scoreboard for SVP, and unfortunately they cannot do anything about this. And now they defend. And the only thing that will be able to save them when it comes to wave clear is just Oddsy. There's literally the composition as a non-existent wave clear, so they will definitely struggle. If one decides to 1-3-1 this, I feel like it's possible, or 4-1, especially Kid, gonna be pushing towards the sidelines.
I suppose that's the question of SVP, hoping that these waves can be addressed nice and early. As you can see them deploying onto the map so far, they're going to crash out as much as they can to prevent them all coming in at once and allowing one kid to go for that sort of three-pronged approach. Ziggs is phenomenal at sieging himself, but very adept at the anti-siege too, as he's going to make light work of this one, but he is lagging very far behind here with his items. He's opted for the Soul Stealer, he wants that ultimate cooldown, but he just hasn't snowballed in this game.
Is not the dive.
Well, it's just a wombo combo. I mean, there's no need to get hype about it because it was over before I even got a chance to talk about it here, Riku. They're just gone.
Instantly. Just obliterated. No jungler, no support, no disengage for you. So SVP just has to watch this happen.
What do they do? 12 minutes into this one, and one team mean business. The game one looked closer than it should have been, but in game number 2, they're proving that the difference between the caliber of players is large. You take a risk, you take a gamble, you draft double scaling, and you get a scoreline that looks a little bit like this.
Yeah, the hope for SVP is to slow the bleed, slow the game down, but one team is just accelerating it into high speeds, and it's just such a tall order. Even though you have Otzi there for the big wave clear, one team is just gonna dive you, has a lot of answer to long sieges because they have heals, they have shields, they can basically block the incoming pokes coming from SVP, and, you know, they basically take it no sweat.
I mean, one team are really playing for the perfect game. They've not lost a single turret, not a single objective, or a single kill. And those aren't things you hear often, especially on the international stage. So I'm sure they're not playing for that stat, but certainly would send a message here in Group A.
Yeah, they're definitely sending that statement that, hey, we're one team. We are your second placers back in the Summer Super Cup. And it was incredibly close too against EVOS. It was all 5 games. It was so intense. And now, you know, they're making a statement. They're planting their flag over here at Group A. And, you know, SVP, and as well as earlier, of course, we got Team Flash. And they're basically taking team names.
Currently up, 14 minutes in with a 20k gold lead. Already taken 1 inhibitor, a second soon to follow. A third wave now being escorted through that bottom channel. And now comes the Hexacorner main. Do or die here for SVP. A last chance initiation. Papa's already gone, and that's all they could have hoped for. Straight onto Allbot, he goes golden, falls away, and that's a Mega Inferno Bomb that literally tickled them. Did we see damage? Because I certainly didn't. Shields and heals, Lux and Sona doing what they do best and guaranteeing kills like this. That was beautiful there by Bayer. Guarantees it, no answer back as he also goes golden. And they may, in fact, do the perfect game. You don't see it often, but when you do, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, clean game coming from one team. Towers all alive. Everyone alive, and basically, just as you mentioned, the perfect game. And what a statement here coming from one team. Just so clean. They played to their win conditions. They were basically so aggressive. They invaded